Welcome to the video for ADA Veracity on how to use ADA Pro. ADA Pro took some field day, so that's what we're going to be doing. The instructions here are the same for the Android and Apple, so let's get started. After you open the app, you'll be presented with the login screen. You can log into the username, which is the same as the website, or you can delete the field and create a new user. It doesn't cost anything to create a new user. You can do it here. Otherwise, you just log in. Now you have these options to create new sites. Save sites are sites that are on the device. Now they can differ from the data on the web server. After you've done the inspection, we recommend you upload to synchronize the data on the app with the web server. Otherwise, you won't have the data on the server and you can't generate the report. For sites that already exist, you can go to the little lower fields here, bank, gas station, healthcare facility. These are sites that already exist, categorized on the server. To create a new site, you can just go to Create New Site. Fill in the site name, the address, date, then select as many categories as you like. If you fill in no categories, then it goes to Miscellaneous, so we're going to pick this one. The next information is the tier pricing. It is gathered from the web, so you do need to have internet access to create the site. Now you see the number of parentheses is the number of accessible spaces for the entire site. If you pick Tier 3 and you discover that you need more than 5 accessible parking spaces, then you'll have to upgrade to include the additional accessible parking spaces. This will be an additional charge as an in-app purchase. However, for this example, we are going to pick Tier 1 as we have one accessible space. And then for the restrooms, we're going to pick Tier 0 for no restrooms. Again, when picking the tier for restrooms, be sure to pick the appropriate tier, otherwise additional restrooms you'll have to pay for the upgrade. Finally, you'll see this screen here. The minimum charge to a site is $50 US. Upgrades are a minimum $25 US. To purchase, you tap Purchase, which again contacts a web server, and then you go through the in-app purchase process. We're not going to do that. Cancel. Instead, we were going to look at an existing site under gas station. We are going to pick test site R. If you notice, it's the same as over in the upper right-hand corner. That's because we've selected test site R before. So you can go here and continue to load it from the web server. If you go to save sites, you'll see that these sites are already saved on the device. If you go to any of the other categories, you'll load the site from the server. So when loading through the categories and not from saved sites, be aware that if you have information on your mobile device that is not on the web server, you'll lose the information for this site that is on the app. We are going to reload from the web server, which for the site is blank, so we're going to have a clean site. And then you'll have this menu here. Now, modify site constraints. You can modify the metadata for the site. You can also upgrade if you go to Next, and you'll see what you're upgrading. Parking Tier 0 is not available. That's because on the site we created it with Parking Tier 1, so you can pick that, and if you pick Restroom Tier 0, which is what we did when we created the site, you'll see that there is no charge. So we're only modifying the metadata. However, if you select a higher tier, you'll be charged for that. So continuing with the test site R, you can pick any of these categories and start filling in the data. It's important to understand that the parking and restroom need to be placed in the correct categories. For parking, you'll need to put it in the parking area. A parking area is going to be the location that has parking spaces. So either a parking lot, parking level, parking structure, and so on. You can have as many of these parking areas as you like. The system only counts the number of spaces of which, for the selected site, is 1 for parking area. We are going to put main parking. Add a parking space, single space.
From within the parking space, you can add as many sublocations as you like. So you can add a sublocation for a parking sign, accessible space, accessible aisle. However, if you were to add another parking space, you can't. This site has a range of 1. To add more, you'd have to go and modify the site constraints and upgrade. For restrooms, you'll have to place them under interior path of travel. You can add restrooms here. For this site, there are no restrooms. So for this example, if you discovered you need a restroom, you'll have to add a restroom under Modify Site Constraints. You could try and put a restroom and parking under a different category, but when you add and create a report, it's not going to let you add a restroom or parking issues. Restrooms and parking need to be under the proper location. For everything else, you can put the items wherever you like. Let's go ahead and add another location. You can rename locations to anything as long as there is not a sibling location of the same name. You can also delete custom locations, although if you do so, you may lose any child locations under that custom location, along with the notes or the pictures. Any pictures taken with a still will be on your mobile device and will not be uploaded. You can take images with the app like so. You can take a picture of it here. Then you can see on the video it doesn't change the orientation of the video, but I'm going to hold the device sideways to take a landscape photo. So the camera, after a few seconds to save, when you're done taking the pictures, you can go to Images, and you'll see the images for this location. You can add notes. So adding a note here. And then save it. And that's pretty much it. It's straightforward. Now when you're done, you can upload. You will upload the site data to the server. In doing this, when we tap Start Uploading, it will upload images, notes, and the data structure. That concludes our video.